Hello, I'm Transformers fan G138, and I'm here with a video review of my all-time favorite Gundam, the Shining Gundam, from the Gundam series G Gundam, or really God Gundam, but whatever. US rules and whatnot. So, this guy is pretty cool. This is the precursor to the Burning Gundam, or God Gundam, depending if you're talking about the US version or the Japan version. But, anyway, it's just pretty cool. So yeah, he's got a nice shiny metallic sticker under this green piece in his chest. It just looks nice. This looks almost identical to the show. I dig this so much. Now, I would like to start by saying this is not unmodified. There's actually a few significant changes I made. One is, for his super mode, they gave you stickers for under the panels on his arms, but everything else for the super mode was left gray plastic, just like the hands and joints. So I went through and painted the shoulders and painted the other pieces that were supposed to be gold as well. So all the gold matches. And he doesn't really transform into his super mode. You kind of have to pull pieces off and change them. You actually swap out the head completely. But the fact that he actually does have his super mode is kind of cool. So, talk about this mode a little bit. So, he's got a nice little easy change between his hand and, of course, his shining finger hand. I don't really get why they called it shining finger when it's really his whole hand, but I really did like it. Shining finger. Sorry, I like playing with toys. It's kind of fun. So you got that. In addition to that, you actually get the shining finger for the other arm too, so you can actually do dual shining fingers if you wanted to. And in addition to that, you also get two completely closed fists for, fighting. I prefer to keep one shining finger on display and one open hand. But that's just me. It's my preference. If you really wanted to go through the effort, you could remove the faceplate and put on the faceplate from the other head so he could still open his faceplate for the shining finger. I really don't have that much patience. So, okay. So I'll get into the first modification I already told you about the other one, but guess the second modification I made. So, and that's another constant thing. The legs tend to want to pop off, and it's just weird the way they design the legs. I think if they did it a little bit closer to the 00, it would have been a little bit better. So, the first modification I made was simply, when this was molded, this is molded together. It's one piece, which means if you move one leg forward, both pieces of the side skirt would move forward. So what I did is I clipped it apart and sanded it down a little bit, because there are two ball and socket joints there. And there's enough room in here. It's corresponding here. One of them is a little loose, so this one's a little loose, so I'm going to take some super glue and add it around here so it's a little bit tighter, but I haven't had time to do that. So literally, it's not a hard modification. You just clip that into two. So, this guy, again, is amazing. I love this Gundam. I love this TV show. And this is even cooler. They actually give you the core lander. Which, Delmon's little flying car thing. When everybody else on Earth had, actual cars, he has this thing. It's pretty cool. And the cockpit does lift up, kind of half opens, but really for the mode. They've actually figured out how to design some cutaways so it plugs in a little bit more securely than I would have thought. Because I used to have the US release of the action figure version of Burning Gundam, or the Battle Scarred version or whatever, and his backpack did not stand very well at all. So that is cool. He's got a ton of motion, not as much as 00 Gundam did, but still, this guy is amazing. Love the articulation of these guys. Love it. So for his accessories, we have his dual swords, which his handles slide in here. They don't fit too tightly, but that's okay. And if you don't want to store the handles in his side skirt, you can actually, they actually give you a side skirt with a solid piece molded on it, rather than the L bracket. So, like in the cool show, and accurate to Japanese history for the samurai, he actually has 2 lengths of handles, which correspond to 2 lengths in beams. Shorter obviously goes to the shorter, and the longer obviously goes to the longer. Such as, there's longer, and there's shorter. Just a little bit of comparison here. So that's pretty cool. He more often used the longer sword, pulling out from under the shorter one. So that's pretty cool. I played around with it a little bit. I can't actually get him to hold it with both hands too well. I mean, you can, it just looks really weird. Now, what's another weird thing about this is his hand is actually molded into 3 pieces. It's got the outside, the middle thing that's clipped to the ball and socket joint, and then the inner hand, which is kind of nifty. It's kind of weird, but whatever. So he does have this really cool sword, which is nice. He's got both of them fit in his hand. Both of them are really nice and secure. Love it. So, like I said before, you can convert him into his super mode. Also, while I'm on the subject, I'm going to throw on his shining finger again. And he does come with this large shining finger, which you can use for combating, which locks in with Master Gundam. However, this one just does not like to stay in. I really don't care. I think it's kind of a waste of plastic. I think it's fine without it. It's cool that they included it, but they didn't need to. So, for the purposes, I'm just going to leave the shining finger on there, so I can show you something afterward. So, to kind of transform him into his other mode, and while I'm doing this, I'll show off my other modifications. So, you pull off the side panels on his arms, and this is where I modified it. These gold pieces in here were made of completely gray plastic, and I took some fast orange and scratched the surface of the plastic using a toothbrush. And then I took Model Master acrylic paint, which dries pretty quickly, and the metallic gold color, and painted 3 coats on all the pieces. Now the thrusters are actually separate from the rest of the gold pieces, and I left the inside gray just because I thought that would look better. So it actually turned out very nice on both sides. So he does have gold there. So what you want to do is this tab inside that plugs in the arm, you want to push that down to reveal the larger tab, and set those aside. You actually, for this part, have to pull off his arms completely. Slide off the white piece, revealing my next piece. I actually also scratched this with fast orange, painted it with the same paint. It looks much nicer than I think the stickers would have. And then you slide it into this other slot up here. The original placing and the new placing. Do that for both arms. pull off his head, which is actually surprisingly really easy to do. And then you pop this one on with his open face plate and all the things on the back of his head folded out. The only thing that you can't do is these can't bend on the Corelander, but I think that's fine. What's nifty is these panels, people complain they don't stay on very well, and honestly, they don't. However, I have more of a problem with the sticker on the end. I would have much rather seen this be 2 parts with just a plug-in blue piece. Because I constantly catch the edge of these stickers. And I'm starting to see some white because the stickers are actually starting to pull away from each other. So once these are off, you angle them. Most people complain because when they do this, they grab the tab and pull it up and expect the piece to stay on that way. It doesn't. Also, the thrusters in here I also painted gold, which are gold sometimes and not the other times, so I just painted it gold to match super mode. So this, if you actually pull it off, go up top and slide it in a different position, they actually stay on much, much nicer than most. However, if you do bump them, they are going to come off. It would have been nice if they put these on an actual hinge, so that wasn't an issue. But if you know you want to display it in one mode or another, you might consider super gluing these. I prefer to display them in his non-super mode, but whatnot. So I'm going to take these off for just a brief second, so I can do the feet. So you pull off the toe, move it forward, which is nice. And then these kind of fold down a little bit. Then these panels in the back fold down, so they touch the ground. Put these panels back on. And there you have Shining Gundam. Now what's also cool is they gave you the Shining Finger Sword, which you have to disassemble the hand to fit in. But since I'm running low on time on my camera right now, I'm going to attempt to do this before it cuts me off. You literally pull off the fingers, not the entire hand, which is... I can't get that off. And there. Basically, place that in there, reassemble the hand. Pop it into place and bring his hands together. And you have Shining Finger Sword. Go, 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 go! Whatever. And then the Corelander goes back in the back. I tend to knock that off. Well, and I give you this one 2 thumbs up. Totally recommend it. I think I paid 20 bucks for this, probably a little overpaid, but that's what it is. Really love it. I like the paint I did on it. I think it's very cool. If you have any questions about this guy, please leave a comment down below and I'll answer them. If you have any further video requests, also post down below and I'll do those for you. I think that pretty much covers it. Awesome Gundam, awesome kit, also had fun putting it together. Hope you enjoyed and thanks for watching.